What's good, OPG? Today we got school rules make no sense. Let's get into it.
When I was in 6th grade, I got my phone taken up in the dumbest way possible. Basically, me and my friend Ben were working.
Whoever took this picture of them absolutely does not like them because they could have told them to change up the pose. It's like the picture that your mom make you take on the first day of school with your little brother. Look, this nigga, they had this nigga feeling like a mob boss. He think he Tony Soprano. Got his hands crossed over each other and his jawline all clenched and shit. You can relax, Five. I promise you, you can relax. And then we got the supporting side character over here and shit.
On an assignment in our social studies class, and midway through we realized that the assignment was super easy, so we started goofing off and going on our phones because we knew we could just finish it in the last 2 minutes of class. But then our teacher walked over to us and told us that we were off task and that we needed to finish our assignment before we went on our phones, and we were like, oh, okay, no worries. So we proceeded to finish the assignment within the next 5 minutes, turn it in, and then we went back on our phones because we were done with all of our work for the day. But then the teacher walked back over to us and said, hey, you're not supposed to be on your phones. And we were like, no, we finished the assignment. And she kind of took a step back. But at this point, some other kids were looking over at us, and I guess she didn't want to seem like we were
Bro, I hate it when like a conflict arises in the classroom and niggas start looking. Now the teacher feel like, hey, you pussy if you don't put your foot on these niggas' necks. If you don't assert dominance, you pussy. Like, bro, bystanders make that shit 100 times worse because they wouldn't be feeling like that if they wasn't getting looked at.
reminding her authority in front of other students. So she immediately took a step forward and said, I don't care, I'ma need your phones. And me and Ben looked at each other like, what? Like, we seriously couldn't believe what we were hearing, but she was the teacher, so we had to listen to her. So we reluctantly gave her our phones.
See, now she gotta emasculate you, strip you of your manhood. Imagine I had I shit on myself. I got dookie stains all up in my drawers, and I need to call home, emergency, need some pants, but I got my phone taken up because niggas wanted to look at the teacher yell at me in class, and now I'm just sitting there in a pile of shit.
And she sent them to the front office, and we had to go and get them at the end of the day. And the entire situation just felt so pointless. Like, me and Ben still...
Bro, like, who do these niggas think they are, bro? Y'all not cartel bosses. I promise you can uncross those arms. First day of school ass picture.
Vividly remember this incident till this day, and this was almost a decade ago. And if that wasn't ridiculous enough, my school proceeded to ban phones the next year, which I talked about in this video right here. I just think it's kind of annoying when teachers will flex their power for no apparent reason, and when my actual teachers do it, it's one thing, but it's even more annoying when subs will do it. Like,
nah, subs be moving diabolical. It'd be an 80-year-old white woman with white hair, and she just telling everybody to shut the fuck up. You can't speak, you can't breathe, you can't think.
I understand that students will mess with substitute teachers, so they might feel the need to assert themselves, but a lot of times they're just doing way too much. For example, in 7th grade, we had a substitute teacher in my first period science class, and I remember it was winter time because I was wearing a puffer jacket indoors because I run pretty cold, especially in the mornings. But as soon as I walked into class, the sub was like, hey, you better take that puffer jacket off right now. That's outdoor clothing. We don't play that indoors.
Who the fuck says this? This is real? Oh my god. Y'all school, bro, these niggas got these niggas in prison. You can't wear a puffer inside. That's too gangish. That's too gangish. You can't wear that indoors, you thug.
I was like, what? I was in disbelief. You see, I went to public school. There was literally no dress code against wearing a puffer jacket indoors. I don't know what this guy was on. He was mad rude for no reason. It got to the point where he was rejecting people's requests to use the restroom. I mean, it was so ridiculous that it started to get funny, and I would have laughed if I wasn't clattering my teeth because I was freezing my buns off. But for me, one of the most memorable substitute stories happened when I was in 12th grade. My English teacher had gone on vacation with her family, and we had this old woman as a sub. She was one of those retired teachers that would sub.
This is the exact type of archetype I was explaining earlier. These are the evil fucking, they never had power in their entire life, so they gonna flex on these motherfucking kids and say, you can't go to the restroom. Piss on yourself, nigga.
To keep busy, and she seemed nice enough at first, but she would also do really weird things. Like, she would go on these long rambling tangents about the British royal family, and all due respect to all the British people out there, but I don't really care about your royal family. I don't know why she thought that a group of American teenage high schoolers would care about Prince Harry and
I'm not gonna lie, I talked to some British nigga and I told him to do something for the queen. That nigga said, fuck the royal family. So they don't even care about the royal family either.
Meghan Markle. Like, bro, what? Anyways, for that English class, we had a list of 100 vocab words from the books we were reading that we had to memorize and eventually be quizzed on. It was one of those things where we were given a list of 100 words with their definitions, and then on the quiz day, we had to match the words to the definitions. It was kind of pointless because it was literally just a game of briefly memorizing the words and their definitions and not really understanding how they're used in their context. So as soon as we took the quiz, I forgot all of them. And just so you know, I got 100 on all of those vocab exercises, and 3 years later, I don't remember a single one of those vocab words, so clearly that exercise helped. Anyways, some people would try to cheat on these exercises by keeping their phone in their lap with the full list of vocab words on it, and would peek periodically and write the answers down. Now, this was very risky because the teacher would be vigilantly looking out to make sure people—
Bro, that's not the strat. Look, I'm gonna put y'all on game, bro. Get you a water bottle, get the wrapper, write everything inside the wrapper. You gotta write small, or like get a hoodie, get like a index card or something, put in your sleeve and slip it up just a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Or hit the little headphone in the sleeve, like, you know what I'm saying, bro? You're gonna get creative. What the fuck? Why would you use your phone? That's stupid. You're not looking at your Johnson down there, man. They gonna know what you looking at.
People weren't cheating, but since she was on vacation and we had a sub, I guess this one dude in the back of the class thought it would be a good idea to try to have his phone out during the quiz. But I guess this old sub was trying to prove that she was old school and tough because she went full TSA mode. I mean, she was walking in between the desks just staring at us. I mean, it was hard for me to focus with her looming over my shoulder. But then around halfway through the quiz, as I'm locking in, I just hear whoosh, coming from the back of the class. Everyone turns back, and it turned out the sub grabbed the quiz off the guy who was cheating's desk as loud as possible for some reason, and she shook her head and said, "What a shame, what a shame." Here's the thing, like, I understand she needed to punish him for cheating, but her reaction was so weird to me. Like, her tone was so condescending. It really felt like she was looking forward to grabbing someone's sheet off their desk and making—
But they get off on that shit, bro. They get their little pussy wet. They like embarrassing young niggas. I'm telling y'all, bro.
This big scene, and the guy was clearly flustered and taken aback, and I don't really care about him, but it was such a goofy move to me because that moment was clearly the highlight of her week. I just didn't like it when substitutes would flex their power for the sake of it like that. The greatest sub I ever had was this old Asian man who didn't speak 2 words of English. He would just hand us the attendance sheet and go sit at his desk and watch YouTube for the entire period, and just gave us time to work on our assignments. Like, that guy allowed me to be more productive than the weirdo British obsessed grandma. But annoying substitute teachers I could deal with. Redundant classes, however, I really couldn't. Now, you know how you're supposed to have the core 4 classes in every grade level? 1 math, 1 English, 1 science, and 1 social studies. On paper, it makes sense. Those are 4 very relevant subjects.
This nigga 50 Cent pouring up the lean? Nah, son. What am I, mother, Shane? What am I, mother? I'm on that. He's pouring up the Wakiana. Oh my God, he got the Waukesha, the vitamin water bottle, the fucking vials of vitamin water bottles in the back. He got the— oh my God, 50 Cent really a chemist.
But like I just said, it became very redundant over time. Like, social studies was the worst of the bunch because history can be one of the most interesting subjects of them all, especially something as rich and dense as American history. But I felt like we just kept learning the same things year after year. Like, bro, the Constitutional Conventions, we went over that in 5th grade 8th grade and 11th grade. I don't know why the state of Texas was so insistent on us learning about the same subjects over and over and over again. And anytime we learned about something fresh and interesting, my teachers would just brush past it. Like, this is John Brown, a radical abolitionist who led a violent slave revolt and was sentenced to death by the United States government for his actions. Faced by the court and his pending execution, he spoke. Now, if it is deemed necessary that I should forfeit my life for the furtherance of the ends of justice, and mingle my blood further with the blood of my children, and with the blood of millions in this slave country, whose rights are disregarded by wicked, cruel, and unjust enactments, I submit. So let it be done.
Hey, shout out my nigga John Brown. You know what I'm saying? And he with the folks. They don't want people knowing how evil the history of America is, twin. They're not trying to educate young niggas on this shit. Cause then that's where, I mean, shit, you see
my
the stuff that be
teachers
happening.
Proceeded to call him a crazed lunatic and immediately moved on, you know, after talking about Andrew Jackson for 6 weeks. But you know, at this point, I think that we've all realized that the history that we learned in school was extremely biased and doctored. At this point, I've done my best to get over it. I think the real issue with the classes that I took is that they didn't prepare me for life at all. I mean, I would have loved to take a personal finance class and learned financial literacy and how to do my taxes and what are good investments to make. I mean, I took an AP Econ class my senior year, and while I learned how the greater US economy works as a whole, I didn't really learn how to make or manage money. So it was sort of useful, but not really. You know, some people would say that it's like that by design, and we're really just taught to be obedient in school. And while I'm not really sure to what extent I believe that, if there was any truth behind that theory, it would have to originate from the fact that we need teacher approval for everything, including basic bodily functions. Like, a lot of times it was just little things that annoyed me. When I was in 11th grade, my last period was physics, and probably once or twice a week, I would finish all my work in that class with 20 to 30 minutes still on the clock, and me and my friend would ask the teacher if we could leave class early because we were done with all of our work, and she'd say, no, you gotta wait until the end of class.
Or that fucking 10-10 rule. You can't go in the first 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes of class. Oh my oh my god, that shit would make me so fucking mad. Nigga, I didn't have to pee. I didn't have to pee in any other time frame in the middle of the shit. Why can't I go in the first 10 minutes or the last 10 minutes of class, nigga? This not, I'm not working. It's a fucking class. Come on.
So we were just sitting there
for 20 to 30
minutes doing absolutely nothing until the school day was officially over. I guess the logic behind that is they don't want unruly teenagers loitering outside before school is over, but my rebuttal to that is, why am I held to the same standard of behavior as this guy who's causing all of the problems? I don't know, maybe it's just me, let me know in the comments, but I had...
Alright, well, I'm cutting you off. You sound like you're trying to give yourself an outro. You don't get outro, I get an outro. If you made it this far to the video, I appreciate you, man. Lay out, boys. OPG for L. Oh way or no way.